This week on LSMN Overtime, we'll be looking at softball highlights with playoffs just around the corner, some late district baseball matchups, and LHS honoring a legendary baseball coach.
Hello, and thanks for watching the final episode of Overtime for this school year. I'm Tori Stevens, and let's get right into some softball. Starting over in Hebron, where the Lady Hawks hosted the Lady Farmers in the final district game of the year. Lots of defense in the first 3 innings of the game, including this nice diving catch by Farmer catcher Caitlin Moreno. In the bottom of the third, Hebron junior Zoe Bowen drove in 1 run, then later came in to score off another base hit by senior Reagan White. In the bottom of the 4th inning, freshman Allie Lovett got on base and later scored, giving Hebron a 3-0 lead. The score stayed the same until the 6th inning, where Lewisville scored 1 run, cutting the lead to 2. The Hawks held on to 3-1. Clinching their first ever district championships, the Hawks will play their first playoff game Friday night against Little Elm. In other scores, Marcus defeated Flower Mound, winning 7-0, but the Colony had the bigger win, crushing Denison 12-2. Softball playoffs are just around the corner, and here's what you need to know. Number 1 Hebron is playing number 4 Little Elm, number 4 Marcus is playing number 1 Prosper, and number 3 Lewisville is playing number 2 Geyer. Now switching to baseball. Flower Mound hosted Capel Tuesday night in the first game of the series. Capel started off the scoring in the 2nd inning with a double from junior Andrew Schultz, which drove in 2 runs, giving Capel an early lead. Flower Mound would later respond with 2 runs after a single from Zane Becker, would get him to third base and later score on a pass ball. Then a check swing bloop single would bring in the 2nd run for the Jaguars. Capel wouldn't die though, as a single up the middle would bring in 2 runs to take the lead, which they wouldn't relinquish. The Capel Cowboys would take the win 4-2. Baseball at Lewisville. Over in Lewisville, the Farmers were hoping to snap a 4-game losing streak against Hebron. The Hawks got some momentum in the first inning, followed an RBI single by senior Grant Johnson. The Hawks offense caught fire in the 3rd inning when a hard hit ball by Brady Richardson snuck past the third base into left field, scoring 2 runs to give Hebron a 5-0 lead. Hebron's pitching was on point thanks to an efficient outing by freshman Marcus Paz, who went 5 1/3 innings and giving up 1 run. Hebron knocks off Lewisville 6-1. The two will meet again later this week for their final game. For other scores, Marcus defeated Plano East 10-3, and the Colony fell to McKinney North, losing 6-3. Going into the last game of the season, only 2 LASD schools are in the playoff run. Marcus is sitting comfortably in first place, followed by Flower Mound in 3rd. With playoffs coming up, the Marcus baseball team is on a roll. DJ Christian sat down with head coach Jeff Sherman for this week's Coach's Corner.
I'm here with Jeff Sherman, head coach of Marcus Baseball. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now let's start off with some team stats. Currently on an 8-game winning streak, 9 shutouts to date, only 1 district loss, and you're ranked number 2 in the state. Which of these marks stands out to you the most?
I would say, probably the shutouts. I think the biggest question mark coming into our season was our pitching staff. Like, who's going to be our pitcher? Who's going to be our guy? We have Tate Evans that came back from last year. That was one of our top pitchers, but we had no one else, and we're pretty young. When I say young, like, we have some seniors, we have some juniors and stuff like that, but they're young to varsity baseball.
Sometimes a fresh start is what you need. Your team has scored 99 runs in district while only allowing 16. Would you say your success is due to a powerful offense or a stingy defense?
I would definitely say our offense. I think some things that we changed from last year to this year, that's pretty fun. That we went out and saw some of the best coaches for base running, and our base running, we've broken almost every record at Marcus, from just stealing bags, runs scored like you were just talking about. And that goes back to like getting on first base, stealing. We have almost 100 stolen bases now.
Sounds like it's all working out for you. The regular season is winding down, and you are poised to make another run in the playoffs like you did last year. Do you guys feel like you have unfinished business from 2021?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we kind of look at it is like, you can't really look at from one year to another year. I just think that that's really tough, especially in baseball. As you know, like anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And I think for us and our focus is like literally every pitch and like, can we get better? I know that's a lot of coach talk there, but it's literally the focus. Do we think that we're good enough to do that? Absolutely. But we do know that with our region, just like in every sport, like it's a really tough region just to get to the state tournament. And we got to go through so many good teams. And with that, I think it's like literally if I can challenge my players like daily to work as hard as they possibly can on a day-to-day basis on what they can and can't control, I think that's the most important piece. So, I mean, again, our expectation is just play as long as we can. And, you know, obviously if we can hold that trophy at the end, that's obviously the ultimate.
Well, it's good that you never compare yourself to your past. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, Coach, and good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tuesday night, the Lewisville Farmers baseball team took the time to honor a former coach. Here's more on that story.
The sign's going up. It's up on the press box right now, and behind here at home plate, it's just going up to honor his legacy here at Lewisville High School. Everything's done to the community, so we're gonna name the field after him.
Formerly known as Farmer Field, the LHS baseball team took a moment Tuesday night to honor former baseball coach Mike Campbell.
I worked at LHS for 47 years. I retired last May. I'm very honored. I didn't think it would ever happen, or not necessarily that I deserved it or anything, but I'm just very honored.
Coach Campbell may be retired, but he still puts in time to help with the field that will bear his name.
He works out here every day. He still comes out weekly and works and keeps it up and mows the grass. And he loves doing it. The field itself has come a long way from. It didn't look anything like this when it started, and now it's one of the nicest places to play in the Metroplex.
With his son now coaching, Mike hopes his legacy is not just the baseball field, but in the game itself.
I think there's some really good young players on this team that will move forward in the next couple of years, and it's in good hands. I'm obviously prejudiced because my son's the head coach.
It's just it's an honor to get to do his job that he used to do.
I hope it means something for people. I do.
Thursday afternoon, Mira Sangadian and Sarah Crawford traveled to San Antonio to compete in the UIL Tennis State Tournament Championship. They made a good run but eventually fell to Bridgeland High School in the quarterfinals. The Hebron varsity girls golf team placed first in the regional tournament with all 5 athletes scoring in the top 10. They will move forward to defend the state title in May. They aren't the only ones though. Marcus Boys Golf had a second place finish at regionals and will also be heading to the state tournament in May. Over the weekend, Flower Mound and Marcus Clay Target teams competed in the YESS Spring Tournament. Marcus placed 3rd in skeet and 1st in trap, giving them a 2nd overall finish. Flower Mound placed 5th in skeet and 6th in trap, giving them a 6th overall finish. Marcus High School alum and current Boston Celtics star Marcus Smart just earned the NBA's Kia Defensive Player of the Year award. Smart is the first guard in over 25 years to do so. He graduated from Marcus in 2012, where he led the Marauders to a state championship. On Thursday, the Flower Mound women's running team competed in the 3,200-meter run. The Lady Jaguars ended up sweeping the podium with Natalie Cook placing first with a time of 9:52, setting a new record, followed by Alexandra Fox with a time of 10:44 and Samantha Humphreys close behind with a time of 10:46. Hey Alex, what's the furthest you've ever ran?
Today I actually ran 2 miles, but I'd say I'm more of a sprinter than a long-distance runner. But speaking of sprinting, this week's spotlight goes out to Lewisville track star Tiana Harlan. At the district meet, Harlan competed in the 4x200 relay, with the relay team finishing in first place with a time of 1:39.13. Harlan also picked up second place in the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.63 seconds. She then took home fourth place in the triple jump with a jump of 37 feet and 9 inches. Harlan, along with many others from LISD, is advancing to the regional meet this coming Saturday. From LSMN Overtime, I'm Alex Salazar.
Thanks, Alex. As mentioned earlier, this is our final broadcast for the year, and we wanted to take a moment to recognize some people who are pretty important to the show. I'd like to give a big shout out to Ms. Coleman and Ms. Flynn's cosmetology classes here at Tech East. Specifically, I'd like to say thanks to Ashley Beltran and Janice Molina for their help with hair and makeup before each broadcast. And finally, we want to recognize the seniors who are participating in our final show. Camera operator Matthew Anderson, graphics producer William Hutchinson, field producer and audio director Bertine Rodriguez, director Brody Lewis, and producer Bishop Franklin. It's been a great season, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'm Tori Stevens, and we'll see you back here in the fall on LSMN Overtime.